Hello everyone. Do you deal with spots where there are a lot of weeds growing um, in summer and spring, basically in the warmer seasons, but you cannot reach to those spots, or it is hard for you to clean up those spots because of the reach? I do have those spots in my garden. Like if you're seeing, there's that little space between the fence and the trellis right here, which I have all along my fence line right there. That's a very hard to reach spot because of the trellis, and I do have a lot of weeds coming in that area. So what I did for the last 2 years is, the last spring I actually sowed a lot of wildflower seeds in front of the fence, in front of the trellis, because I had a lot of space that is workable. By then I had a matted thick layer of weeds growing in that area between the fence and the trellis, and I cannot work through that area unless until I spray some a weed killer, which I don't want to do. Plus, the level of the soil in that area is much less than the level of the soil in front of the trellis, because I have amended the soil by either adding a lot of material and the compost and everything. The level of the soil on that side is not as even with the level of the soil in front of the fence, in front of the trellis. So what I did was I grew a lot of wildflowers along the fence line right there, and once all the plant material is dying in the last summer, and once the season, the flowering is done, I took up all of that material and I snuck it from the top in between the fence and the trellis and pushed it down all the way through. That way I had once the weeds died down, all of this plant material that had wildflower seeds and everything, all the dry material was tucked in there. And eventually, I've done that for 2 years straight, and the level of the soil kind of came up, and I did throw a little bit of compost every time I added some plant material. I just threw a little bit of compost too, and everything kind of settled down over the years. Now we see that the level of the soil is the same, is all evened out. So when I did this, I was wishing and hoping that eventually the weeds will be suppressed by this weed seeds also will be suppressed by the plant material that I'm putting in, which is the wildflower seeds like bachelor buttons or nasturtiums or calendulas and all of that. And this year, finally, the great success is that the nasturtiums have popped up on that side of the fence, where I'm sure most of the weeds will be smothered down because of the nasturtium growth and everything. And obviously I'll have a beautiful look of the flowering, because we have sun facing this way, facing towards me. The plants will be growing for the light this side, and it's going to look gorgeous and pretty, because the trellis will be covered with all of those beautiful colors. So I did throw in a lot of such material behind or in between the fence line and the trellis, and eventually I'm hoping for the calendulas to pop up, the bachelor buttons to pop up, or if not, just to be on the safer side, I may just go ahead and throw in a little bit of dirt and sprinkle those wildflower seeds right there, and to see what all will pop up. I'm sure the weeds in that area is going to be much less than the previous years, and I'll have some beautiful flowers growing in between there too, which will really reduce a lot of work for me in weeding out and adding that color. That way in the front I can have my tropicals growing, like the jasmines and the hibiscus, which will eventually and slowly flower. By then I'll also have all of that spring color and summer color going on. For me, it just feels like an amazing success. Because of the lot of plant material right here, I wasn't able to see all the nasturtiums pop out. And yesterday when I was cleaning up, picking all the fruit from this, I was able to see that there's a lot of flower plants that are coming up from there, and just felt it is an amazing success story. So if you have any spots as such, I hope this video helps you. You can just remove the weeds if you can reach that spot very easily. I strongly suggest to, once the weeds are all cleared down, maybe add in a bit of compost and throw in some wildflower seeds. The most inexpensive and good quantity of seeds for the cheaper price would be the wildflower seeds. Go ahead and sprinkle some of them, and let it work out the magic. It will take years for the patch to be full of the wildflowers, or to your particular regions, but it will definitely work. I used to have another garden where I followed the same technique, and for 5 years straight, I always had something or the other new popping out because of that one or two wildflower seed packets that I just sowed in the area. It took 2 years for it to build that beauty, but it definitely works. I really, really hope this video is helpful. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time, and thank you for the comments that I'm getting. Thank you so much. Have a great day.